5-star catering, a modern gym, and listen to this, a massage parlor. How about that? And that's the life of a Kenyan member of parliament. Members of parliament are demanding to be pampered as they discharge their legislative duties. That's the first line of the story on page 6 of the Standard. And it goes on and on. That's just a list. They further want to ease their transport woes. They have requested that the 5 million shilling car grant be increased to 7 million shillings. They've also given their insurer 6 months to improve its services or have its 2-year contract terminated. This is the kind of headlines that definitely I'll have to ask your opinion. You can share your opinion. Do you think this is fair to Kenyans, that they want massage parlors? You can share your opinions at Citizen TV Kenya is our Twitter handle. Use the hashtag Daybreak. You can also send your feedback on text. 22422 is the number. Start texting. MPs seeking 5-star services in-house. Before I come to the sitting member of the National Assembly, you've been a member of parliament.
Yes.
Do you think that this is way above what members of parliament should be enjoying? Because probably, maybe it's not.
Well, I don't think there is anything new. It's only that possibly the standards might have to be upped. I remember when I was first elected about 25 years ago, members of parliament, we had some catering services which we were paying, and I'm sure our colleagues in parliament today are still paying for the same services. So whether it is 5-star or 4-star or 1-star, you still have to pay under what they call messing. As far as the area exclusive for members of parliament, that is important because they can also have their discussion, and we still have them. There is an area called the Pigeonhole, which is exclusively for members of parliament. There is also an area where members of parliament can sit and consult. And I found it in parliament 1989 when I first joined parliament, and it is a service that has continued for purposes of ensuring members of parliament are able to keep up with their work. The issue of the gym is an introduction under what I refer to Peter Oluwaringo package, where even what we are benefiting as pensioners, as former members of parliament, is a product of that, so that you have a gym. Instead of going all the way to Serena or even to the Norfolk or any other 5-star hotel, you have a gym in-house. And that one we left it. It's not anything new. It is something that has been there. I'd love to
ask you this. Did you enjoy massage services while you, as a member of the National Assembly, courtesy of Parliament?
I may not have gotten time to go for massage, but I think those services were there during my tenure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new.
Yeah, nothing new. Let's also debunk this notion. Even the pension I'm getting, I used to contribute 50,000 every month for the time I served as a member of parliament.
And some of those things appear necessary and even sound necessary, even in the ears of the public. But issues of massage parlor.
But massage, do we need services of masseurs as members of parliament?
Do you?
Do we need? Yes, we do. Because at times you work under strenuous conditions. This is not about wrestling. It's a wrestling of the mind. And therefore, if you need services and you go elsewhere, what is impossible getting it within in-house?
Wow.
As long as you pay for it.
Okay. Yeah. So you are a current member of the National Assembly. What probably is your justification for this kind of demand?
Well, I don't see any new demand, Fred. I think it's just sensationalizing what is not there. Because where is this thing about being treated like royals? Because what we're saying is there's already a gym in Parliament. The gym has an area for massage.
They want an improvement.
They are masseuses, yes, you know, because maybe some of the equipment might have been broken and so on. So there's need to modernize that, and these services are paid for. You know, you pay from your pay slip, just like I would go and pay for gym at Intercontinental or the gym. Many Kenyans pay for gym, even the one at Nyayo Stadium. Just like I would go and pay there. We have said, so once I've entered Parliament, let me have a gym there. We'll pay for it and we'll service it. And that's what happens. The massage area, it's been there since the days of Waziri Kipruto here.
Have you ever found need for that service?
Yes, I sometimes go there, you know, for massage, because many times you are from the constituency, there's a lot of strain, there's a lot of work, and I'm sure it's not just MPs who go for massage, otherwise we wouldn't have so many massage parlors. Again, that is a service you pay for.
That's a whole new discussion.
You know, even in your own house, you can have a massage. You know, people do these things. The catering is a service that is paid for. So if MPs said, okay, what we have currently, let's have variety, you know, a place where we can even host our guests and so on and so forth. Nothing new, and all these services are
you
paid
already
for.
enjoy them.
We're already there. We have catering. You know, if we said improve it a bit, you pay for the food. Everything you eat, you pay.
Yes.
So really,
but the massage services are courtesy of the taxpayer. You don't get to pay for the service.
Pay.
Yeah.
You know, there's money that you pay for the gym, for the health club overall. So once the money is taken off your pay slip, it caters also for the masseuse who are there. I think they're like 2 or 3, and you know, you book. It's not something you go to every day or every week. You go once in a month, twice in a month. You know, it's so. I think this is sensational. There's nothing in here.
It is contained in a report tabled by Nyaribari Masaba MP Ezekiel Machogu, and it recommends that the creature comforts of the legislators be elevated to those of VVIP status as befits their position. That Machogu report was written after the National Assembly's Committee on Members' Service and Facilities, which he chairs, concluded a benchmarking visit to the parliaments of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland to assess their facilities and services and draw lessons. Now, it is said to have been spurred on by tales of luxuries in the West. Wow.
You know, even this live coverage in Parliament, I happen to have been the chairman of the committee that introduced the report, and we had to go all the way to United States. We went to Uganda, we went to South Africa, we went to London, just to benchmark. So there is nothing new. Instead of reinventing the wheel, just copy what is already working and improve on it, and make it suit your circumstances.
Well, what do you think? Because my panelists seem to agree on this matter. Massage parlor, modern gym, 5-star catering, additional security and restricted internet access, and out-of-bounds lounge, and Sergeant at Arms to control visits by the electorate, improved car grant from 5 million to 7 million shillings. All this, what do you think? Do you think our members of parliament deserve this kind of treatment? At Citizen TV Kenya is our Twitter handle. Use the hashtag Daybreak. You can also text your feedback on 22422. Well, let's just see how the feedback will be. But as we wait for that feedback,
Fred, you know, you're just sort of saying, wait for the whipping.
Let's take a look at other headlines. On page 4 of the Daily Nation today, Raila is our man in 2022 poll, says ODM. Now, this has been quite a discussion this whole year. Raila Odinga saying we should keep off 2022 politics immediately after that handshake. Now we are seeing the same members of ODM coming back and saying that, and talking about 2022, have they fallen prey to the politics that was being played out by Jubilee members who've been talking about, they've been accused of focusing more on 2022 and not the Big Four agenda. Now we're seeing ODM talking about them having their own man in Raila Odinga to take on a DP Ruto come 2022. Do you think that there's more than meets the eye when it comes to this headline?
Well, a number of things are very interesting. One is that Raila is taking on Ruto. Who said it's Ruto alone who is going to run for presidency? Are they saying that people like my party leader are not going to run? Number 2.
Well, there's a headline to do with your party and the possibility that it will be merging with another. That's a different discussion. I will come to that.
Okay. Number 2, it's also important that we had some discussions in the run-up to the last general election. And we were happy that we were going to win. And upon winning, Raila was going to serve for 1 term. That is the understanding that I have. I was part of the management team of 12 people, later on expanded. And therefore, we may need to engage.
We need clarification on that, Waziri, because it is said that that was premised on the fact that by then you thought that you were going to win the election, but the fact that that did not work out the way it did, then it rendered that MOU useless.
But you see, that is where we go wrong, because you know, before the beginning of time, and what I mean by beginning of time is before we started writing everything. Even when I want to sell you a bicycle, we have to go to a lawyer to write and say, okay, I'm selling you a bicycle for the 2 pieces of chicken. Before the beginning of time, there was what we call gentleman's agreement. Now, that should be the beginning of our discussion. We are not saying Raila should not run. It would actually be undemocratic for us to say so and so should not run. But we must have discussions so that the gentlemen and ladies, let us begin. Where did the rain start beating us? Then we say, when we lost the election is when something went wrong. How can we reconfigure ourselves and move in as a team for purposes of winning the power and also serving the people of Kenya?
Why, for example, do you think ODM is now coming out and saying we still have our man come 2022? Yet a few weeks ago they were very quiet on that, and the party leader himself said, let us not talk about 2022. I
think the party leader is still focused on the agenda between him and the president. What is happening is that it is very easy to leverage. You know, Raila is a giant politically, and where he comes from is even bigger than life. And therefore, some of the individuals may want to do that for purposes of leveraging. If Raila was to run today, the members of that political party, once they win the nomination, they are assured they are going to go to parliament, especially when they come from areas where ODM is popular. Yes. So people are leveraging for their own survival. Yes. It may not be in the interest of Raila.
Is that a fact, that if Raila is not on the ballot come 2022, it could affect your individual political ambitions at that time?
No. I think, yes, Raila is a big force, and if you win a nomination on ODM ticket,
with him as presidential candidate?
Not necessarily. Whether he's presidential candidate, he's not a presidential candidate, his influence within our regions and on the party is undoubted. So, but what I'd like to say is this 2022 discussion, Raila himself has been very clear that he is focused on building bridges. And this discussion about 2022 is distracting, is neither here nor there. It does not add up for now. I mean, it is unfair to Kenyans that we have just come from an election. In fact, it is with you, Fred, the other day that we were discussing that we have not even had a year since election. The year has only started on March 9th after the handshake. So it has been just 6 months since we finished, you know, sort of electioneering. And so right now to start talking about 2022 is not fair game. So I think
we're talking about members of your party talking about 2022. Are you saying they're out of order? I think
individuals can talk about 2022.
Senior members of the party, you're talking about leader of minority in the Senate.
Yes, leader, I can, you know, the most respected member of our party. But I think there's no place, because I sit in the Central Management Committee of ODM together with Senator Orengo, and that body is chaired by the party leader. It's the apex decision-making organ of ODM, and if there was a decision by the party, then that would come out officially through the official channels. But the fact that I go and discuss this matter of what I believe or what I think somewhere does not make it official.
So should we take it from you that this headline should be dismissed, that it is inconsequential?
I think as ODM, we are focused on Building Bridges initiative. We are not focusing on 2022. We are not talking about 2022 at whatever level. We are focusing on building bridges, fighting corruption, helping the president fight corruption, moving our country forward. When the time comes, the discussions will be held as necessary. But it remains unfair to Kenyans. And we have been saying this even about Deputy President William Ruto. It remains unfair that people walk everywhere right now talking about 2022, Fred.
But as a
it does not make sense.
But as a politician, do you think we would be right in dismissing such a headline?
Well, it will be foolhardy to dismiss it, but we take it with a pinch of salt, that this could be an individual position, leveraging himself, and it is very easy for people to do that and look like these are the people holding the old man on course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Finally, as we wrap up this news review, something else happening which involves your party, ANC, and there's a lot of talk about unity of the Luhya community, which is cannot be qualified unless you add the word elusive unity of the Luhya community. There's a story on the Standard where Deputy Party Leader of ODM says, I am ready to leave ODM for a united party for Luhyas, and this has a lot to do with the discussions of forming a united party to represent the community. You do not come from that community. You're a deputy party leader of one of those parties being talked about, the ANC. Yes. Don't you feel that it is wrong to discuss that party in the eyes of one community?
Well, I think Kenya, we are living through interesting times, in the sense that in Africa, there are only three political parties that I can remember. The rest are configurations, coalitions of regions, coalitions of individuals, coalitions of communities, coalitions of conveniences. I know CCM in Tanzania, I know ANC in South Africa, and probably to a certain limited extent, given the fact that they are using state resources, MPLA in Angola. Otherwise, the rest of them are vessels fashioned around individuals.
Including ANC?
Well, ANC of South Africa or the ANC?
ANC, the party which you are deputy party
Now,
leader.
we are building that. So it is wrong for anybody to say that when Luhyas want to come together, it is a crime. It's not a crime. Communities must also ask themselves, we are coming together to do what? Unity against who? Unity for what purpose? And this is the discussion Luhyas are having. And Oparanya should not jump the ship. It may be unity, and once they are united, we all go to ODM. What is wrong us going to ODM as Luhyas and Kalenjins and Luos and other Kenyans, because ODM is one of the largest parties.
Do you consider ANC a Luhya party?
No, ANC is a national party. We have members of parliament at the coast. We have members of parliament in Northeastern. We have members of parliament elsewhere in this country. It is only that the leader happens to be a Luhya, and the rest of us are not Luhyas. Yeah. And which party today can conceivably say, minus the leaders of those particular parties, will remain again relevant for the next a decade or so?
And your own personal opinion, do you think you should dissolve ANC to form any other different outfit, probably for the reasons that they suggest?
Politics is dynamic. And given that dynamism, what we need to do is to reconfigure what is best for Kenya, what is best for the region, and what is best for the friends of ANC and other political parties.
Okay. In the same vein, of course, Wycliffe Oparanya is a deputy party leader ODM. He says he's ready to quit his position in that party for the benefit of his community. It also has a bearing on that headline we've just been looking at, the fact that those within the party saying that Raila Odinga will run for president. The other deputy party leader is Hassan Joho, who's also declared interest in the presidency. Oparanya has also said he's interested in the presidency. What is playing out?
Yeah, and this is the reason why what we are saying is, as ODM, the discussion about 2022 has not been had. It will be had because 2022 is coming. It will be had at the right time, and we will move, you know, as a party to whichever direction. But I think history has shown that what brings Luhya unity or Luo unity or coastal unity is not necessarily a political party or a political vehicle. It's not necessarily about leaving your party and going to another party. Parties have been formed. Even if you look at the coast, you know, parties were formed there to say, let's coastals come here. But people always went where they thought their interests were best met and not necessarily a regional vehicle. So, you know, Governor Oparanya is, of course, my deputy party leader, whom I respect very much, and I'm sure he knows and understands. And he probably made this statement in the context of, you know, if we really, really are serious about uniting. Because if you go ahead and read the story, he says, you guys have been talking about merging for 6 months.
And nothing is happening.
Nothing is
Talking
happening.
About ANC
you don't have to, you know, to enter your brother's house, you don't have to consult for too long, you know, you just go knock and enter. So I think he's very clear the context from which he's speaking. But I think broadly speaking, what will create Luhya unity or any other community's unity is not necessarily the political party. It's a convergence of ideas, of interests, of saying that this is where our country needs to go. And it's also a nationalistic approach, because nobody can go anywhere on their own, you know. No single community can get anywhere on its own. And we have moved away right now from tribal outfits to building, you know, institutions. Even the Jubilee Party, you know, initially URP was Rift Valley, TNA was Central, but you saw that they brought all this together, and you know, and ODM has also been a national outfit. It has had leaders from all across the country. So political parties that have worked are not about single communities. It's about what is the interests of Kenyans at any given time, and how do we move together forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, those are just some of the headlines in today's dailies and other news outlets, including Citizen TV. And we've just been looking at the issues behind the headlines. Thank you so much, Gladys Wanga, Woman Representative, Homa Bay, Kipruto Rapkirwa, Deputy Party Leader, ANC, helping us with those conversations. Remember, the biggest headline has to do with sports and the sports ministry being accused of having misused or being involved in a 1.7 billion shilling scam concerning money set aside for hosting the World Under-18 IAAF Championships last year. That is a big headline. Big discussions happening today as well. Motorists plan to protest over proposed fuel tax. It is 7:30 a.m. here in Nairobi. That protest is supposed to be starting anytime now. The traffic situation will be looking at it. Wahiga Mwaura, my colleague, will be hosting the